better place.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome everyone to this very cold evening in Johannesburg at the Salam Media Studios. My name is Shabnam Mayat, and Salam Media has very kindly offered Protect the Rohingya to come out here on Humanitarian Day and speak to Rohingya from all over the world, or those involved working on the Rohingya issue for the next hour. So thank you very much for those of you who are joining us tonight. So the 19th of August is a day observed to pay tribute to humanitarian aid workers who endanger their lives for humanitarian services and for those who support people affected by crisis around the world. So, of course, throughout the day, you've been hearing about all sorts of crises. And I think that's something that is very important and that we don't stop speaking about, of course, is the Rohingya issue. And I represent an organization based in Johannesburg called Protect the Rohingya. And we have been working since 2012 with our tireless volunteers and our partners around the world to raise awareness on the Rohingya issue. And we've run various projects, and Salam Media has always been supportive of those projects. So we're very excited and thankful to be here today. We have a wonderful lineup today. And the first person that we're going to speak to is Yasminullah, and she is based in North America, and she's a Rohingya human rights activist. She's based in Canada, and she advocates at a community level for policy changes, and she works to raise awareness about the Rohingya genocide. So Yasminullah, assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Humanitarian Hour on the Rohingya.
Alaikum salam. Thank you so much for having me today.
It's absolutely a pleasure to finally get to speak to you. So let's just dive right into it. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you, as a Rohingya refugee, ended up in Canada.
So I was born in the northern Rakhine state. I was basically we fled as a family when I was 3, and we remained in Thailand for a little bit as refugees, and in 2011 we actually finally got an opportunity to be sponsored by Canadian Christian groups, and they really helped us to be able to resettle in Vancouver, where we live now. But during all of that process, we've gone through a lot of police brutality, a lot of arbitrary arrest, a lot of fleeing, a lot of all kinds of struggles that normally comes with the title refugee. So it hasn't been a very short journey from Rakhine State to Canada to Vancouver, where we live now.
And you made it to Canada and you've resettled and you're no longer in the region. So what was it that said to you that you had to continue working on the issue and advocating for Rohingya rights?
My father was a longtime activist for Rohingya, even though he himself did not have any did not have any sort of identity or any form of documents that are accepted. But he forged on. He found ways to advocate for his community anyway while in Thailand, being so restricted, not being able to mobilize, not being able to travel around. He was still able to do all of those work. I grew up seeing that, although I did not deliberately choose to want to do this or to want to advocate for my community. I felt like I was forced to do it anyway in 2017 when my family, when people in my village had to flee for their lives. And that was just, I think, the last straw for me for putting off any sort of help, any sort of work that I could do for my own community to serve them. I think that was the moment that I realized, if I don't do anything now, I'm going to lose everyone forever. And so I just jumped into it blindly. But fortunately, there were a lot of people along the way to help me to understand the system better, and how we could actually organize in the community. And it was fortunate that I have a lot of friends in Vancouver, so that's where I started. And so I started to educate people at the community level here in Vancouver, at the library. And we had an action forum. We started with just 20 people, and slowly we were able to build it to, to more people, and more people expressed their interest in joining the movement. And and I worked with the Rohingya Human Rights Network for a little while, to advocate at the, at the government level. And then we worked on several projects with the Montreal Holocaust Museum and then the Canadian Museum for Human Rights to raise public awareness in that sense, because museums are an important part of this conversation in not just bringing to life the actual plight of the Rohingya, but also documenting the things that are going on, and it also helped emphasize the use of the word when our government, the Burmese government, did not recognize the word Rohingya, but another government choose to do so. It is really impactful. So that's been the kind of work that I did for the past few years, and I'm hoping, of course, to do much more than this.
Okay, so in terms of the crisis, where particularly does your focus lie? Like, do you have one area that you really concentrate on?
I finally learned that I'm very, very passionate about the equality issues, especially on the sexual and gender-based violence, and how trauma-informed approach can really be life-changing for the refugees, specifically the ones that are in the crux of it right now, especially the ones in Bangladesh, and having that lens applied. It's really important for me to be able to get a better idea and forge forward the kind of approach that I think would be important, not just for the problems or for the issues that are facing the refugees right now, the people at the camps right now, but also what it would do transgenerate, like throughout the generation, the transgenerational trauma, and how it would affect us in the long term. So I'm fascinated by it, because I'm also part of it. At the same time, I also want to be able to at least hopefully develop some sort of tool or put out the information that that my brothers and sisters in the camps would need in order to process through all of this, because I don't think that we've had a lot of conversation around this as a community.
Mm-hmm. Razia as well is doing amazing work on this
Yes.
very issue with her organization, and we're very fortunate to actually meet her in Cox's Bazar, because the issues are shocking. I think the Rohingya story was the first time I actually personally heard of women raped in that kind of violent way.
Yeah.
Yes, there was Srebrenica and others, but in this way, in these numbers, it was really shocking to all of us. I think the entire group was just like shocked. They didn't know how to react. And how do you even react the first time you hear something like that? So it's really important work, definitely. The last question that I want to ask you is, what can listeners do for the Rohingya? So people listening in, they always say, oh, we don't know what to do. How can we help? It's so far away from South Africa. Give us some ideas, please.
First, I would just really suggest everybody to go on and learn a little bit more about who Rohingya are. Often people just hear very superficial stories, and they don't really connect. They don't really get to see the face to put the face to the name, and it often creates this barrier of understanding, and it whatever you are driven to do, from a very few short moment of just hearing the horror stories, does not help you sustainably help that group of people, or specifically the Rohingya. And so actually learning about why it's so very much in line with the the bloody history that South Africans have to go through. Although apartheid is not a big part of this, there is a huge part of the policies that the Burmese have actually put together and applied to the larger population, like segregation, marriage law, things like that. It is actually happening to the Rohingya, and although just the factors of it, just the few percentage of it, but it helps us to be able to relate to a personal level. Second, I would actually suggest that audience and listeners actually look for ways to help monetarily. I know that often people say, "Oh, donate," but really, please do not look down on the power of donation and power of how much a dollar could actually save someone's lives. Protect the Rohingya. I'm not entirely sure if you're actually currently accepting donations, but this is a good start. Come to Protect the Rohingya for for any guidance that you need, for to learn more about Rohingya, to volunteer your time. That's a kind of donation. That's a kind of work that could be done. But at the same time, monetarily funds, if the Protect the Rohingya cannot help, absolutely, I think that you would be able to help them, guide them to the right organization that they could probably donate to. So these are a few very simple things that you could do right off the bat at this moment.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate the time that you gave us today, and we wish you all the best on this World Humanitarian Day moving forward through your work. Keep up the great work.
Thank you very much. Take care.
And you. Okay, so that was really, really inspiring, and we have a wonderful lineup of people that we're going to be speaking to today to give us ideas about what's going on the ground and about how we can help. Next in the lineup, we have Mohammed Rakibul Hassan, and he is joining us from Bangladesh. So we're just going to get him on, and he is a documentary filmmaker, and he is also a photographer, and we're just trying to get him on, and then we're going to be speaking to him. In the meantime, I wanted to tell you, we're going to be going, okay, sorry about that. We're going to now be going to an ad break, and straight after the ad break, we'll be back with Mohammed Rakibul Hassan.
Osman's Taj Mahal Spice and Rice. For over 80 years, Osman's Taj Mahal have been perfecting the art of the perfect spices, pure, aromatic, and well-seasoned. Spices to tantalize your taste buds. From creative cuisines to gastronomical gourmet goodies. From exotic odors to traditional dishes, Osman's Taj Mahal have remained synonymous with quality spices and condiments. Taj Mahal rice, beans, and lentils. Try our range of chili bite mixes, rose and ilachi syrup, our quick and easy biryani pack, and our traditional range of spice blends. Osman's Taj Mahal. There is no substitute for quality.
From the very beginning, you answered Islamic Relief's call. For every hardship, you planted a seed of hope. You've given millions a reason to smile once again. For as long as the call remains, may Allah keep us committed. You've made such a difference being there for us and for them. Thank you for changing their lives. Visit islamicrelief.org.za today to continue changing lives together.
With over 80 years of experience, IG Hussein and Company are renowned for their quality Islamic wear and goods. IG Hussein and Company stock a variety of Islamic items, musallas, kitabs, Medina dates, perfumes and exclusive gifts. We guarantee you a unique and friendly shopping experience for the entire family. Visit our new branch in Overport at 202 Kenilworth Park, Brickfield Road. Open 7 days a week with ample parking and wheelchair friendly. Like us on Facebook or Instagram at IG Hussein for our latest promotions and updates. IG Hussein and Company, your Islamic lifestyle.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness, and every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and freezer card calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
It's a new beginning. It's a new era. Salam Media, humanitarian journalism.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome back on this World Humanitarian Day. We are Protect the Rohingya being represented on Salam Media across social media platforms, and we're also live on Al Ansar in Durban at 90.4 FM and Pietermaritzburg at 105.6 FM, and also live on One Nation FM in Polokwane on 88.9 FM. And we spoke to Yasminullah, and now we're going to be speaking to Muhammad Rakibul Hassan, who is, as I said earlier, a photo journalist and a documentary filmmaker who is based in Bangladesh, and he has worked extensively on the Rohingya. So, Muhammad Rakibul, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's really good to have you on the show today. And I just want to start off the same way we're starting off with everyone else, asking you how it is that you came to work on the Rohingya issue.
Many international NGOs, and we are observing how they are living over.
Okay, there seems to be a bit of a technical difficulty there. We're going to try getting him back online. In the meantime, let's go to the lines and see if we have any of our other guests on. Okay, so we now have Naysan Win. He's also on while we try to get Muhammad Rakibul back online. Of course, Naysan is no stranger to South African radio. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the show today on this very important World Humanitarian Day.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thanks so much for having me here. I'm
So
very glad to
basically,
meet you again.
Naysan needs no introduction. He's one of the best known Rohingya faces on international media. He's also one of the main people at the Free Rohingya Coalition, one of the founders there. And, I'm sure you've seen his face. If you watched anything about the Rohingya in the news, we're pretty sure that you saw Naysan. So Naysan, welcome to the show today. And there's one thing I want to get into. Perhaps if you can just help the listeners understand what is currently happening with Rohingya refugees who are stuck on the ocean, because we heard a lot of bad stories about Malaysia, and we also heard a lot about Basan Char, which is this flood-prone island. If you can just give us more information, please.
Yeah, just a few days, less than 3 years ago, the Rohingya had to flee to Bangladesh. Now there are about more than 1 million Rohingya taking shelter in Bangladesh. And the situation, as you have visited a few times, I have also visited a few times, the situation is very dire. And they are living under the tarpaulin. There are the risks of the landslide during the monsoon season. And, their life is always at risk because there is various type of risks, from the human trafficking, from the security side, everything. So since they have no freedom in the camp, and also in Myanmar, they didn't have the freedom, they really want to build their life like we have we have in Europe and you have in South Africa. They really want to have this. That is the reason they always compromise with the. They were convinced by this human trafficker, and they take the very risky journey to Malaysia. Unfortunately, this time, due to this global pandemic, they were pushed back to the sea, and some of them were arrested. Some of them were, some women were raped and tortured on the boat. This had been happening since 2000, late 2006, and the traffickers are using for their business gain, and our people since they have the no alternative option, they always try to flee to Malaysia. And in Myanmar, all of you know that in early this year, the International Court of Justice has ordered the Rohingya as a protected group, but Myanmar doesn't feel this order as a pressure to stop the participating the Rohingya. So nothing has changed since the time they have ordered the provisional measure. The situation remain changed. Similar to the old days since 1978, and
sorry, Nathan, but what about the fact that Myanmar is going to elections now?
the election is very closer now. The election will be held on November 8th, and the Rohingya, that they have taken our voting rights since 2015, and the Rohingya candidate were rejected in 2015 as well. Now also many Rohingya candidates were rejected. Only a few, like 3 Rohingya candidates, were accepted by the election commission because they have the citizenship. They have secured their parents' citizenship. Only a few dozen people have this, so they can secure their candidacy. But the voting rights remain same. The Rohingya have no right to vote. So this happened first time in the history in 2015. So we were expecting this democratic government will change their attitude toward us, but unfortunately, the government led by the Aung San Suu Kyi is continuously implementing the genocidal policy against us.
And tell us, in terms of life in Rakhine State and in the camps in Bangladesh, has anything been done as far as lifting the internet ban is concerned? I mean, Protect Rohingya, we still have our request out there, and we're asking people to sign a petition. I see there are other petitions, but is anything actually happening about giving back the internet to the Rohingya?
Not yet. Unfortunately, last year, when we visited together to the camp, there was no internet. So it is almost a year now. And you have done well. We have posted the petition, we signed. And, and also I'm in touch with some government official. Always, I'm requesting them to restore the internet, because this is very important, because the youth, they have nothing there, except the internet. They cannot continue their education. They can learn a lot of things from the internet, but the government is always saying that there are the criminal activity. Yes, of course, there are the more than 1 million people are taking shelter. There will be some, because even in South Africa or in Berlin or elsewhere in New York, there are the crime people are committing. Human being, nobody is perfect. So this should not be the reason to cut off the internet. The people, they cannot contact their loved one, and even within the camp, they cannot contact each other, because people cannot afford the mobile bill. They rely on the internet connection, and they can use the social app. They can reach out their relative in anywhere across the world. So, but there have been the petition from other the NGOs as well, that dozen of organizations signed the letter and sent to the prime minister. Still they have not listened yet. I hope one day in sooner they will listen us, and our
Inshallah.
people will have the internet, inshallah.
The next thing I wanted to ask you is, could you tell the listeners a little bit about the Boycott Myanmar campaign?
Sorry?
Could you tell the listeners a little bit about the Boycott Myanmar campaign?
Yeah, the Boycott Myanmar campaign is similar like the campaign you have done in South Africa to restore the human dignity of the persecuted people in South Africa. So now most of the audience are from the South Africa. They will really, they know what is going on with us. So Myanmar has not changed their genocidal policy against the Rohingya because there is no action from the wall leader. The entire wall has witnessed what happened to us, how the people fled to Bangladesh. They have not taken any action. They have discussed this matter at the Security Council, and the wall leader have been sympathizing us, like they are saying Myanmar is committing the gravest crime against it, but they have not taken any action. So the Boycott Myanmar campaign is to urge the global citizen and all the business organization across the world and all the government to boycott Myanmar, so the Myanmar will stop the persecution against the Rohingya, because in the past there were sanctions from the US, UK, EU, and many other countries have imposed the sanction against Myanmar to restore the democracy in Myanmar and to get rid of this military ruling in the country. So they have done well, but for the Rohingya, just a million people, just suffering in Bangladesh, and inside the country there are about the 600,000. So they are not really carrying us. So this is BMC is just to a campaign, persuade the people to boycott Myanmar economically, diplomatically, socially, sport, educational, whatever option they have. And also, I would like to urge all the South African citizens to stop dealing with Myanmar, all the time. Just get rid of, so Myanmar will feel, what they need to do. At least they will think to restore our citizenship and the ethnic right.
The last question that I have for you, Nasan, and then you can go, is if South Africans want to do something for the Rohingya, what else can they do?
South Africa, very well that, they were avoiding to vote at the UN Human Rights Council, whenever there is a resolution at the Human Rights Council against Myanmar. So, but in recent years, they have voted, and we really thank them. So, like, as a government, they have the diplomatic relationship with the Myanmar, so they can downgrade this diplomatic relation from the government side, and also that they have the trade tie. They can stop it. Like, the only one country did in 2017, that is the Maldives. So they can copy this idea, and the South Africa citizen, stop traveling to Myanmar, stop supporting anything. They have the relationship, like, the economic or the social, anything they have, they can stop it. So if the one country start this action, some other country also will adopt the idea. So it will be a bigger action, and our more than 4 decade long this persecution against us will stop. It will save a lot of life, and we can go back to our homeland with the human dignity, citizenship right, and the ethnic right, and the protection.
Thank you very much, Nasan. Thank you for joining us on the show, and you doing amazing work. Really, thank you so much for all your work.
Thank you so much for praising me. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Okay, so we've spoken to a wonderful lineup. We still have more people to speak to. We're going to be going to a quick ad break, and we'll be back hopefully with Mohammed Rakibul after this.
With over 80 years of experience, IG Hussein and Company are renowned for their quality Islamic wear and goods. IG Hussein and Company stock a variety of Islamic items, musallas, kitabs, Medina dates, perfumes and exclusive gifts. We guarantee you a unique and friendly shopping experience for the entire family. Visit our new branch in Overport at 202 Kenilworth Park, Brickfield Road. Open 7 days a week with ample parking and wheelchair friendly. Like us on Facebook or Instagram at IG Hussein for our latest promotions and updates. IG Hussein and Company, your Islamic lifestyle.
Dad, well, I've been chatting with an investment broker today, and...
Broker?
Did the broker tell you that our economy is a mess? There's bushfires in Australia, America wanted World War III, and now the coronavirus is traveling around the world.
Well, I also thought about purchasing some crypto.
Crypto? What's that, like another pyramid scheme? I don't trust what I can't see.
There's an apartment in Belito.
So whole your family will be asking to stay there for free. And what if the government takes it away, eh?
Dad, I don't think it works like that.
I'll tell you what works. Gold. At your age, I invested in gold coins and it paid for your university fees and your wedding. No contracts, no agreements. Your investment is in your hands and you own it. With a 70% growth in only 5 years, do you still doubt gold investment? Contact RJ Coin today, 031 202 4701, or visit them at 151 Stephen Lamini Road in Musgrave, Durban. Randery Jewelers Gold Coin Exchange, your passport to gold investment.
Would you like to give Sadaqah 365 days a year? You can with the Al Imdad Foundation's Daily Sadaqah program. Donate as little as R1 a day for a month for each member of your family, up to any specified amount, and receive monthly feedback on where your contributions have made a difference. Visit alimdad.com and download your Daily Sadaqah debit order form or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. You're back with us on this World Humanitarian Day, and we have Rakibul Hassan back on the line with us. And we're going to be speaking to him about his work in Bangladesh. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Sure, Rakibul. So where we left off, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us how you came to work on the Rohingya issue.
Yeah, thank you. I'm a photojournalist and documentary photographer and filmmaker. And in 2017, when the influx started and Rohingya people started coming to Bangladesh, and I came to there and I started documenting that part because I felt that it's a kind of humanitarian emergency, and I'm a concerned photographer and I have to document it. And I work for Zuma Press and also Reuters UK and a local newspaper in Bangladesh. And it was very tough. And I saw that many people came here on barefoot and they couldn't able to bring anything from Myanmar. Actually, Myanmar army burned their houses and killed their beloved ones and looted their everything. So that was a terrible thing I experienced. And I spoken to many Rohingya people, and they said that they got raped and their wife and their mother, so their girl. So it was a mess. It was a complete genocide, and I felt that it has to be documented, and I have to show this to the world so that they will have a voice, as they don't have a voice anymore that time. So it was very important for me that time.
Okay. And what were some of your most moving projects in the camps? Like, apart from covering the genocide, because I've been following you on Facebook and I see that you are covering the Rohingya now during COVID times. So how is that experience for you?
So during this COVID time, and I have been working in the camp since last couple of months ago, I have started, and still I have been working over there. And this COVID situation and pandemic situation actually put them into more harder situation. They couldn't able to go out. They couldn't able to get communicated with their neighbors even sometimes. And it's really, they're facing a very hard time. And a lot of people got fever and a lot of people got infected. And it was really tough for them, though there were many isolation camps and makeshift hospitals are already built by the NGOs and Bangladesh government and other organizations. So they're trying to protect them, and they're also still trying trying to protect themselves as well. And I found that many Rohingya people, they are doing the voluntary work with a lot of NGOs, and they are trying to save their own community too. So that commitment I found is really very promising, and this is very important for them. This kind of bonding they're making with their community again. So I hope that this pandemic will go over and a lot of people will not get affected by this thing.
Okay, and tell me, from 2017 to now, since you've been working on the Rohingya, do you see changes in the way the community, like from the time the community has come into Bangladesh, but also changes like the way the community is dealt with in Bangladesh, or is it still the same?
Living in a camp is a disaster, definitely, and those people usually had a free life over there, so it's a camp life, so you cannot go outside the camp, so that's a barrier. And in the camp they don't have formal education facilities, like they can only do the preliminary and primary education, something like that, so they cannot go to the high school. So that's another problem. So education is a problem, and there is no internet or phone connection over there. So mobile network doesn't work over there. So Bangladesh government should actually provide or allow them to use the internet and mobile phone as well. That's what I really felt, so that they can get communicated with their beloved ones who live outside the country, and they can get access to the education as well. So there are a lot of things to be done, actually. So we have to be very positive for them, and those people are really peaceful, I found, and most of them are like that, very peaceful and welcoming. And these people already very unfortunate, and they actually need the justice, and they need their rights as well, even they're refugees in this country. So we should treat them very well, and we should do whatever we can do for them, so our citizens, like what we get that kind of facilities in Bangladesh, they should at least get maximum facilities over there too. So that's what I feel.
Okay, and is there any specific area of the crisis that your work is focusing on?
I have covered many aspects of this crisis, and I covered the exodus, and later I covered the raped survivor over there, and I also covered how the NGOs are doing their activities for their development and their education sector and their health sector. And during this COVID time, there are a lot of NGOs. They are providing their services to those people and collecting the swab and testing them. They have made a lot of isolation camps, and they are providing their healthcare services and a lot of other psychosocial counseling and a lot of things. But the main challenge is that they are like living in a cage. So this is not called like a freedom, I think. So Myanmar government should understand this, and the whole world should put more pressure on Myanmar to give their citizenship back and their rights, and their just and justice should be served, actually.
Okay, and I have one last question for you. What can people around the world and those listening tonight from South Africa, from your side, what can they do? Or what can all of us do for the Rohingya?
People should know these stories, and their stories, and people should get aware, and people should put more pressure on Myanmar and other countries, and big organization who actually take the decision or make the policies for the Myanmar and Rohingya people. And the audience also can write something on their social media, or even they can get attached with boycott Myanmar campaign as well. So because if we can boycott Myanmar, they'll feel the pressure, because we want peace. We don't want to fight or anything. So we'll do things in a right way. So that's our way. We'll protest peacefully. So that's what these people are stand for, and we are stand for it. We are always with Rohingya
Thank you
people
so much.
because they really, really need justice.
Thank you so much, and please keep up the great work. And
Yeah,
thank you so much for joining us on the show today on World Humanitarian Day.
Thank you.
So listeners, we're going to be going to an ad break now, and we'll be back. We still have two more exciting activists and Rohingya to speak to on this show, and we hope that you'll stay with us. Okay. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back on this World Humanitarian Day. And this is Shabnam Mayed from Protect the Rohingya, and I'm hosting a Humanitarian Hour about the Rohingya with some of the most amazing Rohingya activists from around the world, as well as those working on the Rohingya issue. So I'm very excited tonight to be speaking to Dr. Ambia Perveen. She is joining us from Germany. And we're going to be speaking a little bit to her about Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Ambia, and welcome to the show.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you very much for inviting me. I just came right now. I was traveling.
It's lovely to meet you virtually, obviously, but hopefully one day face to face as well.
Inshallah.
And start off by telling the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Okay, as you said, my name is Dr. Ambia Perveen. I am currently holding the vice chairperson at the European Rohingya Council. I'm also one of the co-founders of Rohingya Medics Organization. Basically, I am not only a human rights activist, but I'm also a physician, pediatrician, child psychiatrist, and I'm expertised in trauma counseling.
Okay, wow, that's quite a resume over there. So tell us how you came to be in Germany.
Okay, good. Actually, I left my country when I was 5 years old. We had a very difficult journey from places to places, but there was a time when we were, due to our relatives who could help us, and stay in Pakistan. And then we studied over there. We stayed almost for 18 months. Then my father got a job, and then we have been traveling to different places. Actually, I came to Germany on the base of scholarship, and not as a refugee, not as an asylum seeker, but due to the hard work and the studies, we thought that it is the only tool that we can bring changes on, to ourselves, for our Rohingya community, being a woman, and also to our families. So I got a scholarship, and then I stayed here, and now I'm a German citizen, and I'm very thankful to the German government for allowing me to be vocal for not only for the Germans, but also especially for my most persecuted people of the world, Rohingyas.
Okay, and being out of Rakhine State, not being in the region, what was it that motivated you to to continue working on the Rohingya?
Okay, Ms. Shabnam, actually, you know, we were only physically away from our country, but our whole family, especially my parents, they made sure that we don't forget about our religion and our ethnicity. So only my family could make it up to a luxury land, but majority of my very close ones are still living in Arakan. And my parents, we are three sisters, they made sure that we study enough that we will be able to help our community medically, mentally, and also financially. So we were from our childhood. I grew up, like, for example, seeing the posters of Aung San Suu Kyi in our house because she was an inspiring icon. My father was following her, telling us about her. We were I mean, not physically, but morally, we were forced to maintain our Rohingya language. Unfortunately, I could not maintain my Burmese language. That was my first language. And then we were requested to wear the Burmese dress, to cook Burmese dishes. So as I've said, and the pain, the persecution which our people were suffering, I cannot say they were suffering maybe, but we were also here living away from them, suffering more because we could not do those days a lot. Then what happened is that, as I've said, my father made sure that we all study. We all are three sisters, Alhamdulillah, and we all three sisters are doctors and serving our community. And actually, we were only involved initially on the humanitarian ground, but after 2012, we have seen the root cause of our plight, Rohingya plight or Rohingya genocide, ethnic cleansing, whatever you name it. It's a political issue. We lost our political rights. That's why the Burmese government could bring us to a genocidal level. So after 2012, we are not only on the ground, we are involved, not only on the medical issues, but also political platform also we have joined.
Okay, so since you are with the Rohingya medical organization, during COVID times, and because there's no internet in the camp, what is the situation and how is information filtering through about COVID to the Rohingya in the camp?
Okay. Ms. Shabnam, you know that I, being in the European Rohingya Council, you know, we do the humanitarian things and political issues. We make sure to the world that this stopping the internet or not allowing the internet access. We do talk in our political talks with other NGOs and INGOs and the politicians and the government, but with the calls or through the pen. And then Rohingya Medics Organization, we make sure that our people inside there, they take the preventive measures. That was the first time that we started to reactivate our group, because because, unfortunately, they were in different languages. Many preventive measures were available, and through the WHO, our majority of people, since we have lack of education, which we were not given by our motherland, Myanmar, so majority of us don't know how to write, how to read, and there are some youth who can really capable of reading in English, but not majority of them. So it was very important for our people to understand and to take the preventive measures, and also to follow the health instructions given by WHO and also the government of Bangladesh. That is the time when we started to do medical sessions on COVID-19 in Rohingya language. And thanks to God, through our counseling and through our awareness program in Rohingya language, we could achieve a lot of, I think it played a big, huge role. The fear that people had before of not knowing what is actually it is, how we can prevent. People were saying different things, but believe it, hearing from their own doctors living abroad, we could win the heart of the people to take those preventive measures. But it was though we knew when we were doing those things, it will be very difficult for our people to take those preventive measures, because majority of you, whoever have visited or seen the pictures or the documentaries and heard about them, the preventive measures, especially the social distancing and the facilities of water, soap, mask, it was not easy at all. So the Rohingya Medics Organization, we also provided around, if I'm not wrong, around 7,000 to 8,000 soap and the leaflet in Burmese language and English language, so that they can read. If because of the shutdown of the internet, at least they can read. And that is how is that we have able to control so far, and I hope they are still following those preventive measures.
Dr. Ambia, I have one last question for you. What can South Africans do, and those listening in? Because people always say it's so far away, they can't go there. But from South Africa, what is it that we can do for the Rohingya?
Okay, that is a very interesting question. I think we all can do. It does not matter what religion we carry, what color we carry, what beliefs we have, where we live. This, especially the COVID-19, has showed us that the digital era at this time, it can do anything. So you are the kingmakers, we are the change makers, we are the policy makers, and these days it's very easily can be done through the digital era. Okay, so the first thing is that the South Africans, they can understand the pain and the plight of us, because you people have almost went through the same apartheid system what we Rohingyas people are going through. And the international community and the people working inside and your local NGOs, or the South Africa, where they have the access to the international community to the higher level, it's very important, all of you, to understand the root cause of our plight, of our genocide. It is not a favor that we are asking. Of course, we are asking what we have enjoyed, the citizenship rights, the full citizenship rights, being a citizen of Myanmar. So if you understand the root cause, it is really in this era that people are just stripped away because they don't like our color, because they don't like how we look, they don't like our beliefs. You cannot just strip of our citizenship rights, which Myanmar government has done in 1982. So that's why it's very important, if you understand our history and the root cause of this plight, it is very clear that such kind of persecution or the apartheid laws which exist till today in the constitution of Myanmar cannot carry on. And so as I've said, the South African can play a big role by understanding, as we have a lot of similarities. Besides that, it's also very important that, I will not admire, if somebody asks me who is your inspiring person in the world, of course, after our last Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's a Nelson Mandela, who made sure that that in diversities, he made in the diversities and in the multicultural, that the peace and the unity concept is acceptable, and it can be done. And then it's also very important that, the network that you people are going, the women network that you have, the South Africa, if they can combine with us and hear our stories, the pain, and the South Africa also can play to appreciate the Gambia of taking such a small country from Africa for taking such a big step, by appreciating them and supporting them. Also the ICC accountability system, that they wherever they can take the action, and the public, you are the force, because what these days it's very important for our politicians, our leaders, our policymakers to hear the what the citizens is demanding. So if you people can talk about it, make the awareness, and I'm sure South Africa will play a big role. My last request before you, before we stop the session, is that if you can allow us somewhere scholarship to those youth, like around 2017, 10,000 youth, more than 10,000 youth are over there who have really finished their secondary school, and they should be right now studying in the universities, the school children who are right now roaming on the road. Yes.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we've gone over our time and we still have one more guest, but I appreciate that you joined us on the show, and we wish you all the best moving forward.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you
all
so
the
much.
best. Bye-bye.
So,
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. And lastly, on WhatsApp, listeners, we have Ahtaram Shire, who is one of the directors of the Rohingya Community Development Campaign, and he's also written poetry that has been published, and he's a COVID researcher for the Peace and Justice University. Ahtaram, thank you so much for being on the show with us.
Thank you for having me here today with you on this Humanitarian Days.
Thank you. Ahtaram, the first thing I wanted to ask you was, tell us what the situation in the camps is, because you're speaking to us from Cox's Bazar.
Yes, I'm Ahtaram, talking from the world largest refugee camp in Bangladesh, Cox's Bazar. I'm one of the director of RCDC, one of the community development campaign. I'm also another civil society organization director, namely RYA. I work there as a media person, and now I work with CPJ Black University as a COVID-19 analytical researcher. If I say the current situation of the camp, currently most of the refugees believe that coronavirus has gone from the camps. People are not too worried about coronavirus. They do normally abstain fearlessly inside the camp area, but they cannot live outside the camp. But this year, aid agencies do not prepare very well for monsoon season, and on the other hand, monsoon season, rain is very much than previous year.
Okay, and tell us, the RCDC does a lot in the camp for education, and they have classes for young students. During COVID, are the classes and the teaching, is it carrying on?
Well, RCDC currently teaching in refugee camps. Before COVID-19, they are teaching at home-based shelter voluntarily. And when coronavirus came in camps, temporarily close all their institutions, and then they make a system like they will send worksheet to the home of a student and take that worksheet in 1 week. Then they said teachers check the worksheet, and like by this system, they continuously teach in COVID-19 lockdown time.
And as a youth from the camp, what do you want to say to the people of South Africa?
Yes, it is a very good question for me. Like, yes, we Rohingya are actually suffering atrocity and discrimination in Myanmar since several decades. That's why our community youth have many gaps in knowledge and progress with education. Nowadays, most of the youth are still without education and also children. And when I observe with CPJ Black University, and I find out some of the important point, that is most of the youth trying to learn their higher educations. And if I can ask from any help from South Africa, that would be education. And secondly, I will ask South African citizen support to get our right back from Myanmar government.
Okay. So, Ahtaram, I want to thank you for coming on the show, and I wish you all the success with your work and with your poetry, and thank you very much for making the time. So, listeners, it's been a wonderful lineup today. We've managed to speak to all the wonderful Rohingya activists and those working on the Rohingya issues the world over. I hope it's given you insight into the issue. And on this World Humanitarian Day, I hope that it makes us all commit to strive to let the Rohingya be heard. And there's so many wonderful, actions that you can support. If you look on online platforms, locally, the Colors of Hope has the Rice for Rohingya on a monthly basis. And of course, Protect the Rohingya on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook. We're always available. We're doing daily updates. And Salam Media and the Salam Foundation, of course, both work on the Rohingya issue as well. So I want to thank all of you. I want to thank Salam Media for hosting this show on Humanitarian Day, this Rohingya Hour. And thank you for your continued support. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Make a little sense to make a better place. Heal the world.